concept was focused on symbiosis and a symbiotic community. What I wanted to do was not only bring the existing community and then have them develop a relationship with the people that would be brought in with the residencies, but I also wanted to allow the people that would be brought in to have a connection with the nature itself, especially because we're focusing on health and we have those 6 principles. So right here you can see where the site's located. You can see 66 the main on top. This is just the progression that I took in making the shape that I ended up with. Here is my entire site, and with this triangle shape that is like the entity of my design, I focused on this triangle of health that I discovered that talks about mental health, social health, and physical health. And I included amenities adjacent to the wings that I have that respond to those specific health benefits. And so up here you can see the axonometric version of the site, and with all of the little call-outs that kind of explain which amenities are responding to which principles and how they do that. So for example, I have an outdoor pool that is for the residents only. It's gated. That responds to all 6 actually. We have an outdoor theater. In the backside of that outdoor theater is a green wall to interact with. It's also across from the church, which is behind that. I have outdoor game area to kind of engage with the natural grass that's already existing without doing anything paved. Playground, pergola. I have an indoor gym adjacent to a library / computer lab. And then on the north side by 66, I have a dog park, retail seating, which is right in front of the retail area that I have. I have a skate park, a pond, and yeah, that's all that's up there. And those amenities are to invite the public because 66th is the most used road out of all of them surround it. And so I felt like having these amenities out front without blocking the view of the retail that I have would be a really good way to kind of invite the community and allow them to have a relationship with people who are living there. And so here's some vignettes too, kind of showing what's going on in some of the places. This one's a little confusing, but this is on one of the sky bridges I have, which you can see here and here, looking towards the library and the gym. Here we have the floor plans. This is my underground parking, which the access to it, I'll hand you this actually, sorry. So here's this, with the underground parking. So you enter right here, there's a ramp above ground, comes down, you wrap around, it's all one way. The only 2 ways right here, the entrance and exit. You can turn in here, you can turn in here. I have these 12-foot wide stairs, kind of to, I use them on all of my floors, and they kind of connect all the floors together, but I felt like physical activity, not only through the amenities, but through these stairways, the 12-foot wide would be a very inviting way to allow people to walk up these stairs, rather than use the elevators which are adjacent. I also included, you can see in the first floor plan, I have some seating right there, kind of to create these soft spaces for people to just gather inside, as well as a bunch of roof access areas and roof gardens that they can meet outside if the weather is willing. So diving into the floor plans actually, up here on the north side we have the retail. I have an ice cream shop, a sports store, and all the way on the right I have a pretty big bookstore space for the public to use, but it is also connected to my building for the residents to use. Oh yeah, I can show them all now. So I have it on these drawer slides here. I'm sorry, I didn't take it.
I just wanted to know which one is not. I want you to
Yeah, okay.
pull it apart.
So with the model, we have north on this side. This is the south side. This is where the church is located back over here. This is 66. So these are the amenities that would be inviting. This is the existing vegetation that was on the site. In my progression diagram, I use those existing vegetations to kind of split my building into 2, and then I use the sky bridges to connect them. So it kind of allows this continuity between those existing spaces to be present still. And it comes apart this way too. If you guys want to mess with it, you're more than welcome to. You can take it apart, look at the room plans, which I have all of them laid out right here. I have 16 different unit types consisting of a 1-bedroom, 2, and 3. The 1-bedroom, I have 3 versions of it with 1 ADA. 2-bedroom, I have 5 versions of it with 1 ADA and 1 multi-story. And the 3-bedroom, I have 8 versions with 1 private access, which is on the first floor, located right here. And then it has its own private path that you can access from directly outside without having to go into the lobby space and walk around. And then I have a multi-story 3-bedroom and a handicap accessible 3-bedroom as well. You guys are more than welcome to come on.
A lot of work.
The pathways I created to came from 30, 60, 90 degree angles that my building took. So all of these angles have a relevance towards the shape of the building.
Does this area have a roof or not?
So, okay, so these are where the atriums would be. I have these glass atriums that kind of highlight the vertical circulation. But the roof access spaces are right here and here. This is the third floor, or the second floor roof and the first floor roof. And then these are my sky bridges that I have. And then the
My
roof garden is.
question was,
Oh.
will there be a roof here or not?
Yes, it will be. It's a glass atrium. I didn't have time to model it out or anything, but so there are these right here. And then I did a call out up there of the glass atrium also, just to kind of show this connection to nature with natural light to allow light into the vertical access spaces.
Yeah, that I think is what it needs to be. Not only connection to nature, but its connection to the parking lot, which I think that brings light right down there. It becomes points where I can park and see where I need to go to walk up. So that's actually what I think needs to happen in the buildings. Connection to nature, of course, that's an important thing. Sometimes, or most of the times, our basement gets ignored and it becomes a very dangerous place to be. But with that light going all the way, I think it would improve the conditions quite significantly. And again, I would put my elevators, are these the elevators?
Yes. And then I have a double set starting on the first floor, right.
The more elevators.
Yes.
I don't think you need it, because once you have created a core that connects all the floors, that's what most people understand, and that's what it is. But yeah, you can have extra one, that's fine. Do you think you've connected this with that, or do you think you're separated them out?
So, well, I tried to connect them with a straight path. There are gates right here to protect this space. There's privacy for the residents, but there are windows along those gates to allow for the public to look inside and kind of see what's going on without invading their privacy or anything like that. And it does kind of have this stretch. I think I have this view kind of going through that all the way. And you can see kind of through the sky bridges that I have from one of the directions to the other.
Yeah, some of the things are pretty well done. This elevation, for example, I see is it staggered? Is it lower?
Yes, it does. It staggers a little bit back and forth. And there's these are all balcony spaces at the.
So this balcony, is it on top of this or is it staggered? Is there a section through there somewhere?
Let me see. So yeah, these are my double-story units. So this is the balcony, I think 6 feet out for the first floor of the room, and then you go to the second floor and they have, I think 3 foot stuff that comes out.
The reason is this is the incline.
Yes.
Which implies that this floor is set back from that floor, and this floor is set back from that.
Yes, it is.
Is that the case?
That is the case, yeah. So yeah, there's kind of this staggering moment. I guess it's offset a little bit. Each floor you go up.
That brings up an interesting question, because now whenever I see different facades have different kind of treatment. This has got one kind of treatment, this has got a staggered treatment, and this has got.
That's the retail. I created this false facade in the front kind of to allow for a soft space as well as like a shading system.
Yeah, so my question was, certainly at the residential area, you have two different things going on, or is it two different things going on? If it is two, then why? What is your reasoning?
I don't think it is too. I think all the residential areas which wrap around here all do that staggering motion, but the only one that doesn't is just the retail.
But this one is not doing it, it seems to be.
Well, from this floor to this floor, it staggers back. This is just the main entrance for the potential residents. That's probably why it's a little different, because they would park here and just access right
That's a
there.
good answer. That's of course, you need to have a reason, and if it's the entry, then that's a very good reason. Which is where, can you show me the plan?
Yes, so the entry's right here, for the potential residents. The entry for residents that already live here could be here, could be back here.
Or
could be-
from the basement, right?
Yes. Or actually, they could enter from the gates too. Like these are the bike racks that I have. So we have a certain amount of bike racks for the residents that had to be enclosed, and so they can enter through a gated area right here with their bikes up, and then they can walk to their unit as well. So those become more entrances that they have, and one of them is in the front right here on the north side.
What of course, there are ways in which we improve, but these seem to be very quote unquote monumental stairs. You use the word 12 feet stairs.
Mhm.
And you said it in a way that you want to make it accessible, monumental, that what I thought about it was monumental, because this is what, 8 feet?
Sure. Something like that, yeah.
So it's wider, it's pretty wide. And that monumentality is actually it starts there. I'm thinking, that since this is an interesting and important space, another set of stairs could have come down here. That monumental, the stairs need to come from this space also. From this space, the stairs are hidden. I go through this tiny little thing to get to that monumental space. That's not actually, see that tiny little space to go to that monumental space. So this space is not really connecting to those three spaces. I think that's something that would have improved your project substantially. If you could have entries, I don't know how, but somehow coming there in a, maybe, not sure how, but get rid of this and become that.
Okay.
So this is an interesting monumental space. This is a monumental space, right?
Yes.
And they're somehow being
Disconnected.
disconnected. This is a very important space for you, because it talks about your site plan, your connections, your concept, and that's why I think this guy needs to be part of that guy.
Okay.
As long as this guy is being highlighted, right, there is a connection, different spaces, so, yeah, think about that. I mean, when you put it in your portfolio, everything, I think it will enhance your experience of the connection, the vertical connection, the horizontal links and all the other stuff that you put in your project.
Okay, so I think this is a very good, very successful project. I think I'm happy with what you did. There is a lot of positive things I can talk about, including the idea that you mentioned about the connectivity of inside and outside. This is one of the best examples you mentioned, especially for some of your spaces that can be used by the whole community there. They are well connected to the landscape that you provided. Also, the frame that I talked about, that you have enough exposure of what you have inside and you expose it to outside, you've provided that. I like it. Also, you have enough connectivity. I think your facades are designed in a way that they have a very good rhythm. Plus, they're not boring, so you have a very good, it's all, for example, country music, but they are all consistent with the rhythm, and I think I like it. Another aspect of your design is that you did not leave any place for the landscape person to just decide. So you did it yourself. Again, if you would do it as an architect, it's going to be way better done than somebody with no expertise on that. I like that one, and also I think that you have some sort of taste in your design, that you came up with some very defined details. For example, in those handrails, they are pretty good. I think those bridges are going to be, they are well defined, and probably they're going to be functioning well in your project. I think I can see the whole dynamic I was looking for in the project, and I think you've done that. There are quite a few mistakes. Again, not red flags. Probably this is not your project. So all of those things, those are dating back to these projects done in probably 1950s with mass construction, and they just want to do it prefab. Not as much thought process, so probably you can ignore those and come up with some colors that reflect your project values and following the same rhythm. Or for example, talking about the height of the of your small windows, probably there should be a little bit of consistency. You have enough here, so you have enough creativity. You don't have to provide that. Another thing that I should keep saying that Louis consent there is no small things in architecture. 3 feet inside, 6 feet outside. You need a magnifier to take a look. We don't need it. If you have it, make it 20 feet. Why not? That's a very great area. If I'm saying something good, if I'm reading a poem from Gautier, why should I be really quiet and whisper it in the next to somebody? I should just say it loudly because that was the place to mention it. So just mentioning very positive things in a very like a timid way, which is not going to be the best way to do it in architecture. It's not, again, those are going to be like easily resolved in the project process. Just wanted to mention that. Another thing is that the facade, southeast, north, again, hierarchy in the facade. Please pay attention to it. So you may have like more power to expose some parts of the project to something and some others. I know you have some site constraints, but probably you can prioritize the areas that you need sunlight. Okay, expose them to the pleasant light. If you think about the gym, it will be fine. You don't use it as much, but for residential, you're going to do it 24/7. And so this is a very brilliant idea. Again, this is very important things that probably you borrowed it from the history of architecture, but again, think about the details. This is not you. This is you. I understand. It's very well done, but that would be something to be
Just
considered.
kind of same language.
Or similar language at least.
It has to be similar, not the same, because this is a different function,
Yeah.
a completely different function. And therefore you can't make it look like residences, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, it has to be part of the same language, right? You put on a blazer, but you don't put shorts.
Okay.
Right? That's the point, I guess, to understand. I'm sorry,
No, I think I wrapped up. I just wanted to just finish what we discussed here. It's a very good project. I took a look at the floor plans. Good.
But one thing I do want to say is that the moment you put a triangle, and you put a cut in the triangle, like that, that's good beginning. But it also seems to me that this area and these areas seems to be outside your project. You have tried to address that through this because it looks that way. But I'm not sure about this area. Right? Is it part of this guy or is it part of everybody else? Is it part of this guy, is it part of everybody else?
I guess it's a combination. And that's kind of where my concept was trying to come in, like the symbiosis, so it's like, it's both part of this, but also part of this.
Yeah, that's inevitable for any project that you do, but you need to recognize that. I can see this guy somehow going in, I'm not sure what it is.
That's my outdoor pool, for the residents only, that's why it's gated also.
Yeah, so this seems to connect, this does not. So you have these things going on, I think it's not resolved yet. Somehow if these guys were that way, then I can see these guys being also spectators and these guys being spectators. Then it starts creating a relationship. So those small things do matter, what is that?
That's the ramp to the underground parking.
Oh, okay.
So it lines up like, yeah.
I see. So anyway, maybe these need to be thought of a little bit. And it's really important that you make this part of your project, just that you've done this. That I can understand that, right? You have created an opening and we can say this is part of this, but opens up this way.
Yes.
Make it so with the other things, and I'm glad you think of your trash cans and other things. Yeah, those are important.
About that, they just told you where you're going to put it. You're going to pass the exams easily.
Usually we don't think about it, I'm glad you do. Those are also important, because if you don't think about it, then it becomes.
Somebody will put it somewhere. that
Somebody
you
put
don't-
it somewhere and it'll spoil your whole idea.
And kind of further what you're talking about, like this connection to here, I was sort of thinking about it for like the outdoor theater that I have. So like the theater faces this way so that people that are in these areas could also watch that. And same with the playground, this is the playground area, I put it by the trees and also put this gazebo here for the parents to like engage with, to kind of allow protection for the children that would be engaged in there, and it's also adjacent to some rooms, kind of for that line of sight.
So what I would do is, since I have this angle, I'll use this angle, maybe it needs to be like that, or somewhere, so this angle plays out in other place, as you've done on this side.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are
So
things.
if you have a bigger audience, provide this here, there are more visibility to that, maybe. And also, negative space is not the leftover of the space. I know you're gonna have landscape designer, even for elevators, you're gonna have an elevator consultant for your project.
Yeah.
But if you, as an architect, the first person, you have to think about everything at the master plan level. If you listen to this, and then, yeah, they're gonna have people to help you and take the idea the next level. But again, good start, good job.